Welcome to the Porn Reboot Podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Emezi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode.
Brothers, today I'm going to talk about understanding versus living. Now, at the time of recording this, it is halfway through February, 6 weeks into the year. And the reason I'm recording this is because I know that there are some of you in particular, who have gotten frustrated. It is the frustration of yet another year of not gaining momentum. That is what is building up for you. You've already been through that phase of, I'm going to nail all the promises I made to myself at the beginning of January. You've been past that phase. You've also been through the phase of, it's okay. Like, it's still January. You can get some stuff done by the end of the month. You've also been past the phase of, you know what, February is still the beginning of the year. And you're likely at that point where you're trying to just front load everything. You're like, I just need to get some of the things that I promised myself done, just some of them, so that I can feel that I'm getting momentum. But some of you are already frustrated and overwhelmed. You're waking up in the morning with amazing intentions. You still feel that clarity of a new year. You still feel that, you know what, at least 2024 and all its bullshit is behind me and I'm in a new year. The flame is still burning within me. And so you start your day, but then you realize that that task you thought was going to take you an hour or an hour and a half actually takes 4 hours. Now you're almost halfway through your day. That's how it feels, because you did a great morning routine, you put it about, you got started on stuff, you lost the password for something, you needed to find something else. You look at your list and you've been living that sort of day for the past 2 weeks. So now you have this big ass list of things you need to do. You're frustrated and overwhelmed, and thus you relapse. In fact, let's be honest, you've probably been in a relapse for a while. You're just a little bit more positive about it because it's the beginning of the year. And when you're in a relapse at the beginning of the year, it hurts different, doesn't it? You might even be concerned that something is wrong with you. Like, why can't I just do the thing I fucking said? Like, I'm trying to make it. I have the right motivation. I read the right books. I have the right intention. I am a good man. I'm a disciplined man. I'm a motivated man. Let me tell you what your problem is. If you relate to anything I just said, your problem is your overestimation of insights. See, you value understanding a principle, a value, or an idea over actually living it. So, for instance, you understand, and there are men out there who understand all the porn reboot principles. Slips are data, blah, 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 blah. But you won't take action because for years, you've conditioned yourself to have prerequisites for taking action. A prerequisite for taking action could be something like, you know what, before I make my first investment in real estate, I'm going to need more information. Like, I don't know whether I want to do Section 8 or whether I should go with a syndicate that does like apartments. Maybe I should just buy my first home first. Some people say that that's the quickest way to build wealth. Maybe I should buy this real estate investing course or watch more. You're just procrastinating because of a prerequisite you've set for yourself. More information so that you feel safe. Same thing with becoming a part of the Porn Reboot program. Even though you may have been relapsing and the negative impact of pornography has been ruining your life, I don't know if this system is gonna fully resonate with me. I mean, I like what JK says, but I just don't know if it's going to match my personality. I don't know if I actually have the willpower or if I'm going to be as committed as is needed to like go all the way through. I just don't know. You know what? I think I need to work on my willpower first. I think I need to get myself, this is a classic one. I think I need to get myself to a certain point before I get started. And you won't just do that with porn reboots. You'll do it with everything. You know, I need to at least start walking and doing push-ups at home before I go to the gym. That's what you say. Oh, I want to start martial arts. I'm going to watch some Brazilian jiu-jitsu stretching routines or practice some kicks and punches at home with some basic program. Then I'll go to the gym and work with that person. Brother, if you are doing any of this, let me tell you now, if nobody has told you, this is one of the main reasons why you are not making any fucking progress in your life year after year. You need to work up the courage. You need to do more research. You always have a fucking prerequisites. You're doing all the things that smart, prudent, sensible people do before they take action. There is one thing, though, that I forgot to add. You're doing all the things that average people do. By the way, if you're new to this podcast and you're just like, what's wrong with average? You are listening to the wrong podcast. I have no interest in speaking to men who want to stay average. Zero interest. This is niche, like they say. That's the word, right? A niche podcast. It is for individuals who have looked around them, their eyes have opened, and they realize, oh, I am unhappy like most of the world because I choose to be like the rest of the world. And I am not willing to go beyond. I am not willing to become my higher self. I am not willing to do what is necessary to be everything I can be. If you truly gave yourself permission to be everything that God gave you the potential to be, your life would not be comfortable. Your life would be a constant journey of courage, of facing your fears, of being uncomfortable, of dealing with criticism, of sharing and receiving with humility uncomfortable truths about yourself. That is the reality. And that is what this podcast is about. That is who this podcast is for. You see, the average man is addicted to pornography, processed food, online drama, or some form of emotional validation via politics or whatever the fuck celebrities are doing, social media. The average man lives with a great fear of loss, a fear of doing anything that will alienate him from the rest of the world. But you cannot afford to be average. You also have a problem with pornography. Average thoughts, actions, and values will guarantee your failure. You're so afraid to look bad that you wait to take action. You really enjoy your understanding of the concepts. You're like, I like understanding concepts. I like listening to JK. And, you like mentally masturbating at the prospect of rebooting. There's a quote I have. I don't even know who to attribute it to. But it says, show me a man who is afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a man who you can beat every single time. Nobody who is afraid to look bad can compete with you. I hear people sometimes saying, oh, I'm worried about putting my face out on social media to promote my business because, it is kind of cheesy and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, do whatever you feel like. Oh, it feels like I'm flexing. I think it's very materialistic. It's this. I'm like, listen, if you think opening your mouth in public when you're not getting any direct feedback from somebody and sharing your expertise into the void is flexing your knowledge, and it's like, who am I to do that? I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. That's absolutely fine. You get to think that way. Nobody should judge you for that. But do not complain when people take your market share. Do not complain when your business is not competitive. Do not complain when you see other people with growing followings and serving people and doing the things you wish that you could do. Do not complain when you see them because they don't care. They were not afraid to look bad. They don't give a shit that you think they're cringy. They don't care. Brother, when I realized this well over a decade ago, when I realized that as much as I could sit back and judge others, as much as I wanted to have insights and be a smart guy, I call it a low-income smart guy. And I'll talk about that later on. Not today, but in a different podcast. Being a low income, like you're really smart, you've read a lot of stuff, you have great insights, but you're broke. So it doesn't matter how smart you are because you are constantly unhappy and stuck in that cycle of trying to make ends meet. Nobody gives a shit about you. When I realized that, and I realized that everybody was just busy thinking about themselves, and even if they judged me, they would judge me for a few seconds and then they move back to thinking of themselves, I just stopped caring. I went out there and I grabbed life. I did what I had to do. Oh my God. I am so glad I did that. I am so glad that I did that because the last decade of my life has been phenomenal. I'm going off. Let's take it back to the main thing. I'll talk about this another day, okay? Show me a man who is afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a man that you can beat every time. So while you are busy taking care of your prerequisites, the true rebooter understands that the only things that matter are the next right steps. That's it, the next right step. And if you're thinking, what if the next right step is to think about it or to get more information or to consult with others? If you think that not gathering more information is irresponsible, there isn't any hope for you. Everybody should do their due diligence. And I know you think you're doing your due diligence, but that isn't what you're doing. What you're doing is looking for a reason to not take action. Most people who claim that they need to think about something or that they need to get more information or they need to kick tires are afraid of something. And all they're doing is going back to that repetitive habit of finding a no, finding a reason to not take action that is uncertain. Understand this and use it to empower yourself. Realize that most of the world behaves like this. And because of that, most of the world will remain average. They will not live the lives that they are capable of. I don't want you to be like that. So again, if you think that not gathering a whole bunch of information is irresponsible, then just keep listening to the podcast, keep listening to this episode, because I have some really great insights that you would love mentally masturbating to. See, I went from being absolutely broke financially. This means for years, I was overdrawn at Bank of America every month. At one point, they kicked me out. I had to go back and beg for them to reinstate my account. And I got to a place of financial freedom. Financial freedom for me has always been very simple. The freedom to purchase anything I want and go anywhere I desire and help my loved ones without it impacting me significantly financially. I should remove the word significantly without it impacting me at all. That's where I'm at. I was addicted to pornography. This means 4 to 6 times a day, including masturbation, for many, many years. Many, many years means over a decade and more. To being in control of my behavior and understanding my compulsion so well that I've become one of the foremost authorities on pornography addiction on the planet. I went from being absolutely skinny. Guys, if you guys see my pictures from before, you'd be like, what the heck was wrong with you, bro? Did you have AIDS? Like, are you a hungry African kid? What's going on? I was never able to put on muscle. I was constantly fatigued. Like, if you looked at me, you would think I was a drug addict. Now I am sub 12% body fat, about 198 to 200 pounds. I'm fit. I have more energy than most 20-year-olds. I'll be honest with you, 20-year-olds these days, all the 20-year-olds. And dare I say, better looking, even at 40 years old. I went from a creepy, crippling social anxiety, people-pleasing, always worried what other people thought about me person to absolutely lacking fucks to give and having an amazing 16-year intimate relationship, which I wake up to. Honestly, I just pinch myself about that one every year. Every year. I'm just like, how? What is the brain chemistry that comes with waking up next to somebody and going like, damn, I'm lucky? Because I used to hear that before I got into a relationship, and I just thought that was bullshit. But I'm living it. There was a lack of purpose, and there was a fear of never finding a mission in life. To a life of freedom and work, a vocation. This is fucking work, which expresses my humanity with other amazing human beings. Now there's more, but people who are much smarter than me have told me that apparently I've reached a point where I need to just stop talking so much about the things that I've accomplished and just let people who are losing keep losing, because not everybody is going to come along. They've told me, these smart people, JK, those who know, just don't yap too much about what you've done. Work with those people who are showing up. And I will admit, it's very hard for me to do that because I was as hopeless as you are right now. And now I live a life that, frankly speaking, 80% of the time feels like a dream. It feels like a dream. In fact, y'all already know this. I don't even like sleeping because my life is such an adventure, and yours can be that way as well. So anyway, my point is this, okay? I'm a human being. I'm a meat suit, just like you. I'm a human, and I've accomplished all of this and more by doing something very simple, by moving from understanding it to living it, by moving from insight to action. This is what it means to be a rebooter. This is what I can guide you to accomplish. But it will not happen, my brother, if you finish listening to this and you think, well, that's good for you, bro. Like, you know what? I hope I can do the same thing in my life one day. Or you think, yeah, bro, let's get it, man. Let's make it happen. And then you hit pause and then you go do something else and you forget about it. This becomes just another podcast in all your tabs. Or you think, you know what? That's cap. It's too good to be true. He's probably leaving a lot out. Let me tell you the only thing that's being left out. The only thing that's being left out of this dream that I'm living is that dreams also include occasional nightmares. I said 80% of my life is happy and like a dream. You know what the other 20% is? It's like a nightmare. Okay? But that's life. I'll take a 20% fucking nightmare. I'll take horrible things happening 20% of the time. That's absolutely fine. It is there for a purpose. We handle it and we come out stronger. If that's you, if you're the man who's ready to move from insights to action and from understanding this to living this, brother, this is my last year of coaching in the intensive program. It is the last year that you can work with me one-on-one. We have coaches. We have coaches currently being certified. We have a lot of things happening. And the mission is going to become so much bigger to the point that my working with people one-on-one won't matter. I need to step up onto a global stage and talk about this pornography addiction that is destroying our society. So if you want to benefit from my expertise, if you want to, at the very least, not just have insights, but be around men who will force you, who will motivate you, who will encourage you and support you to take that insights and put it into your life. Hey, we have check-ins. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in our groups. You have to check it. What are you doing Monday? Wednesday, what's up Wednesday? Have you done it? Finish it Friday. Have you finished it, or are you going to finish it up over the weekend? Because on Monday, we're going to circle back and be like, hey, it's posted Monday. Have you done it yet? Every single week of the year, we don't miss. If you're ready for that, at the bottom of this podcast in the description, there is a link to put in an application. Put in the application and we'll be happy to work with you.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out-of-control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot Group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.